Hello everyone, my name's Candice. I'm the founder of Mother Cuppa and I wanted to do a live tea tasting experience with you so that you can find out a bit more about the blends. Maybe there's one you're really drawn to and you just can't quite work it out, so I thought I'd talk it through with you. If you've already bought your teas and you want to go through this with me together, just get yourself set up. You don't need the teapots, you can just have one tea bag in your cup and we can get going. So a little bit of background, I got into blending herbal teas when I was diagnosed with endometriosis about 25 years ago, and I had a very invasive surgery and had been placed in a medically induced menopause, which was then reversed with hormone treatment, so really horrific time. And when I finished that, I really didn't want to go back on any of the medications. I was really looking and exploring for different options that were available to me to kind of look after my health. This is before social media, by the way, so there was no influencer to sort of guide me or nutritionists or anything like that. And the library got me a book ordered in, and there was all sorts in there that could help with endometriosis and female sort of hormone health. There was a tiny little section that talked about medicinal plants. So off I went to my local health food shop, and the lady in there was just really interesting, had a real fascination with women's health and was super influential in what I ended up going on to do. So she would give me all these weird and wonderful ingredients, and she would say the best way to imbibe that is in a tea. So just mix it up, take it with hot water, little drops and leaves and all sorts of bits and pieces. And what I became really fascinated in was the history around plants and how they'd been used, and then I would record kind of what my symptoms were and any improvements that I was feeling. So I went on later to retrain as a tea sommelier, and I particularly specialised in blending because I wanted to take what I had created and make them taste amazing, which is what I hope we have today. I've launched with the 4 blends that you see here. The business is 3 years old, so still quite new. And what I've tried to do is find a tea for each step of the day that can support women through it. So we've got our Energize blend, which if you're drinking along with me, you're welcome to pour now. So Energize is made with ashwagandha, schisandra berry, hibiscus, beetroot and a little bit of ginger in there. The longer this one brews, the stronger the ginger flavour comes from it. I particularly love it, especially first thing in the morning, because it gives you a real wake up. But the key ingredients in here are ashwagandha and schisandra berry. They are known as adaptogen plants, and their job is to literally help your body adapt to its internal stressors and try and keep the body in equilibrium. What this is going to do is really help with a sustained natural energy throughout the day. Hibiscus, which gives it this really gorgeous red colour, hibiscus helps to flush toxins from the liver, which can slow the body down. So if we can keep the toxins flushed from the liver, that's going to really help with a sustained energy. And then we've got beetroot in here. And when I read that beetroot was used with Olympic athletes to help with energy, stamina, muscle, fuel efficiency, I thought, well, that's just perfect for us ladies because we need a lot of that. Like I say, the longer you brew this one for, the stronger that ginger gets. Now, when I drink this at home, I would normally just have 1 tea bag in here and I would leave that in there for the duration of the time I was drinking. If you don't love that strength of ginger, just take the tea bag out a few minutes before. It's real personal preference, so just have a play around with it. I typically drink this one in the morning to start my day, or if I need a little pick-me-up in the afternoon, so this is a perfect one. And we've got some lovely reviews from ladies. A particular lady who has had real problems with her cortisol really commented on how giving up caffeine had really helped her. And I had had a similar experience when I chose to cut caffeine out of my diet. And I know lots of ladies that I'm speaking to are either thinking of taking caffeine out completely or reducing caffeine. So this is your perfect alternative. So let me know in the comments what you think. Right, that's our Energize blend. Also very good as a cold brew, which I'm sure I will come on to later. Right, next up we've got Hydrate. This is probably the blend I drink the most of. It's kind of my go-to blend throughout the day. I read this really interesting study that women just are not getting enough fluids into their body, and I'm a real firm believer that on social media we hear a lot of people talk about nutritional health, making sure we've got more protein and fibre and so on, but actually what I don't hear a lot of people saying is making sure we're taking on enough fluids, which is really, really important when we think of hormone health. So for me, when I first created this blend, it was because my endometriosis is around managing inflammations within the body. And so one of the ways you can manage inflammation within the body and reduce pain in your cycle is to make sure that you're taking on more fluids. You actually lose a lot of fluids in the lead up to your cycle, and when you hit this midlife phase and estrogen's going up and down like a roller coaster. So increasing your fluid intake is really, really important to your hormone health and supports your well-being. Reduced inflammation will also support brain fog, which is effectively an inflammation on the brain, and it will also help things like hot flushes and night sweats, because you tend to lose a lot of fluid through those experiences when you're already in a reduced capacity. So if also, a bit like me, you fill up your daily water bottle, you never quite get to the end of it, this is just a really nice alternative to your water intake. So she's got some electrolytes in here. We've got rhubarb, elderflower and elderberries. Rhubarb is a really great ingredient for helping to retain hydration within the body. Elderflower is really good for skin hydration, and elderberries help to regulate your body's temperature. So like I say, it's my go-to one. I know sometimes people are put off by rhubarb. It's the South African plant, also you may have heard it called red bush. What's really interesting is it's a little bit of a Marmite ingredient, so some people will instantly be put off because it's got rhubarb in. Now I don't normally tell people it's got rhubarb in right till the end when I'm doing a live tea tasting, because most people cannot taste it in here, and that's really important, being a trained tea sommelier and specialising in blending, because really you don't want one ingredient to be overpowering the other. So this would be one I would recommend trying. Don't take it by its word of ingredients. Give it a try and let me know what you think. We've then got our Relax blend. Now this blend is our most popular blend. Let's put that in that big cup. I'll have a nice big cup of this one. The first thing I want you to do with the Relax blend is to take on the aroma and take a real deep smell of the tea. Honestly, this tea is intoxicating. I really wish I could send the smell to you down the screen here. I've deliberately, you just keep coming back to it. I deliberately have made it smell really intoxicating because when I hit midlife, I had a period of anxiety and sleep issues, and I was one of those ladies that is up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a whirring brain and just couldn't switch off. And I had a really bad run of it before I was told I was in early menopause. And my sister brought me all these hand sprays, and I would just spray them on and be like constantly inhaling them. And actually what I discovered is that aromas are really good for a couple of things. They're really good at helping to interact with your nervous system and bring calm on the body. They are really good signalers to the brain. So repeated aromas help to signal to the brain, oh, it's time to calm down. And it can also act as mind shift change. So when you've got a really lovely smell, so you think of hot bubble baths, nice candles, aromatherapies, it really helps to just shift the mindset from where you were into a different state. So I really wanted this tea to be like a hug in a mug, and the smell was the most important thing at this particular point. But this tea has got some natural anxiolytics and natural sedatives in. Now, none of this is enough to knock you out for 12 hours. Really sorry, I know that some ladies might really need that. The purpose of the tea is to really nourish your nervous system, really bring calm, and really provide a moment of peace in your day. And I think typically my ladies are drinking this towards the end of the day, but you can join me as the 3 o'clock in the morning crew, and that's when I'll be drinking it. Really, if you've had a stressful day at work, if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling overwhelmed, this is such a great tea to have. I would say the real key to this is to just trying to find that few minutes to yourself to switch off and unwind. Let me know what you think of this. She gets rave reviews. And then this is my latest blend. This is Clarity. She's just brewing. She'll come up into a very delicate red colour. So Clarity is really interesting. Very different flavour profile to the Relax blend there. She's really natural. She's a really gentle, delicate tea. So this is not going to knock your socks off flavour wise. This is really subtle in its flavour. What she's got in here is effectively brain tonic ingredients. I've tried to find as many as I could to pack in here. We've got some really powerful ingredients, nootropic ingredients. We've got Gotakula, we've got ginkgo biloba, and we've got some rosemary and sage. The purpose of those ingredients is to try and increase blood flow to the brain and just give you a moment of clarity. I think most of my ladies are commenting that they're drinking this either on a day where they know they've got a lot to pack into their day, or that kind of afternoon where you hit that slump, or maybe you're like 11 o'clock in the morning where you've got something you really need to concentrate on. And she is getting rave reviews about people. In fact, I've just read a review this morning that was like, this is the real deal. I can't believe I'm actually saying it's working. So she's a real good go-to. She's very new to the range, and she's really special because she was designed by my customers through a survey. They told me what they wanted from this tea, and I had a team of customers on the taste testing team, and they helped me get the iterations right and what they wanted. And then we ran a crowdfunding campaign where everybody could pre-order the blend and help me as a new business to raise the funds to bring the product to life. So I feel like she's got a special place in everybody's hearts. Now, I talked about cold brews, and one thing I would say is that you absolutely can cold brew all of the teas. I don't think it works as well with the Relax blend, just because I feel like you want that warmth, that comfort when you're trying to calm, but the other blends it works perfectly brilliantly with. And I have a beautiful mocktail recipe book that I bring out each summer, so you can have a little look at that. And the best way to cold brew a tea is to take your tea bags, take a couple of tea bags in a kind of table-sized jug, brew it with boiling water, let it cool down the side, pop it in the fridge overnight, and in the morning take out the tea bags and then take that cold brew. And if you want to, you can mix it with different herbs from your garden. I particularly like the hydrate cold brew with a little bit of lemon in, so that's perfect. Now I want to talk about the tea bags. Just grab one out here. Oh gosh, no, I can't do that, it's too hot. Let's see if I can. Each of the boxes have 14 tea bags in, and I wanted to let you know that the tea bag, the string and the tag is 100% compostable and biodegradable, so that all goes in your home compost bin, and that means we've got no nasty plastics getting into our endocrine system. We've also got this, which looks like plastic, sounds like plastic. It's actually made with wood pulp, so that goes straight in your home compost as well, and is completely biodegradable. And we use water-based inks on the packaging, so they are 100% recyclable. I source all of my ingredients. I'm not making it on my kitchen table anymore. I now work with a blender that's based in the UK, and they help take all of my recipes and pop them into the tea bags. A good herbal tea, you should be able to see big chunks of ingredient in there, none of this dusty stuff, you don't get that over here. And what's really great about working with the blender is that they have their own set of criteria and can go out and check every farm that we purchase from. So they assess them against a specific set of criteria around ethical considerations within the tea industry, how workers are looked after. We can also source seasonally, so if we've got a really good crop somewhere, we can choose to purchase from different times of the year from different farms. So if you've got any questions, I appreciate you watching this on a recorded back. You can leave comments on the YouTube video, but my email box is always open. I'm most active on Instagram. Feel free to come and pop me a voice note or send me a little message. And just want to say thank you for trusting me with your tea experience. I know that some of you have got cupboards full of herbal tea, really want to love it, but you've yet to find one that you can, and I'm so confident that you will find a herbal tea that you love out of my range. Take care.